Thank you very much, Dolores, and I hope to have an opportunity to thank each and every one of you for coming out today to support life, to protect life. I'm also very thankful for my colleagues here. These are other doctors and nurses. These colleagues of mine are champions for life as well. I wanted to talk to you about a unique perspective of abortion. And I've got to just check because I think there are not too many of you who have taken the life of another human being. If you have taken the life of another human being, could you please raise your hand? It's very difficult for me to say this. I want to explain my banner, which I brought. And if you can't see the banner, it says, done hundreds of abortions and now regret the destruction of every precious life. So that statement bears some explanation because I think there are a couple of questions you could have regarding that statement. Benefit humanity end up performing an abortion. Well, what happened is that in 1987, I completed my residency in obstetrics and gynecology. And like most young doctors, there was a little debt to be paid financially. And we're looking for a little extra work to be done. Now, there were several different options, and I chose all of them. One option was to work extra nights in our delivery room to deliver babies and to do C-sections. Another option was to perform surgery in the evening for women who needed hysterectomies and other surgery. And another option, which I wanted to talk about, was our evening abortion clinics. The evening abortion clinics were easy money because you were allowed 3 hours to do these procedures, but if you were efficient, you could get in and out in an hour and a half. And in a way, I had to delude myself that this was the right thing to do. The important part is that I was not yet a Christian, and life did not have the same value in my mind as it does today. And I rationalized the performing of an abortion because I worked for a healthcare company that was obligated to provide abortion services to our members. I said to myself, hey, it's not my decision. This woman made the decision, and I'm just here to carry out her decision. And after all, who was I to say that her decision was wrong? And it was with that mindset that I performed hundreds of abortions over a period of approximately 7 years. Now, the next question about this statement of I did 100 abortions and then something changed, and what changed?
West Virginia, former national spokesperson for the American Heart Association, and currently she is the executive director for Ignatius Productions. And most of all, she is my friend, and I introduce to you now Jackie Stelnick.
Good Toast. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you today. I came public 3 years ago and gave my very first testimony on the stairs of the U.S. Supreme Court, thanks to these two people standing next to me. Through their perseverance and dedication in helping me to seek the healing that I needed, I'm able to speak to you today. And I can't tell you how happy I am to see so many people. I was a little worried last night with the weather. I made an announcement at an engagement that I spoke at last night that unfortunately my time in California is less than it took me to get here. But the message that I have to deliver to you is worth even 60 seconds of your time. So I appreciate you being here. It was 24 years ago on January the 10th that I made the mistake of my life. I had everything that I had ever hoped for and more throughout my life and to that point. My parents had provided a wonderful education, like my sister who spoke earlier. There were several different schools that wanted me. I had done the pageant system to try to help fund my education. I had it all. I wanted to move to Washington, D.C. Okay, how about I hold it? I wanted to move to Washington, D.C., so my parents made sure that that happened. I had a fantastic job out of college. I had every single thing going on for me. And I had what I thought was a great boyfriend. That boyfriend and I crossed a boundary. And that boundary that we crossed created a life. And when I talked to him about what had happened, he told me there was no other answer other than abortion. I thought, okay, we can give it a couple of days and I'll try to talk to him and perhaps he'll understand that abortion is not the answer. But I woke up 2 days later with a gun held to the side of my body, and he said to me, it's your life or the child's life. You make that decision today. He walked me to the car. The gun was under the seat of the car. We arrived at the clinic. The gun went back into the side of my body as we processed up the stairs. We walked in the front door. There were pregnant women sitting in that lobby. So I thought, okay, maybe now this is the opportunity. I won't have to do this. But guess what? I didn't even get to finish my paperwork before they took me back. The woman who said she was a nurse said to me, Jackie, you have a band-aided problem, and we can help you discard that problem. Because of who I knew was sitting in the lobby, I thought I have to go through with this. And she led me to believe it was okay. I would have another opportunity to have a child. So in my moment of pure fear and desperation, I allowed this to happen. They took me into the exam room. At the time, they were not giving sonograms, so I wasn't even able to see my child. But I can tell you the very second that my child was dismembered in my body. And for years, I didn't know what particular process had been used. Until recently, I remembered the doctor had told me when I'm screaming in pain and the nurse is holding me down, hold on just one more second, Jackie. There's only one more part to remove. So I knew that my child had been dismembered, piece by piece removed from my body. The procedure was over. I was taken back out to the lobby. No recovery time, no instructions other than if you have pain, take aspirin or go to the emergency room. I never had that opportunity because as I walked into the lobby, I realized my boyfriend wasn't there. So I thought maybe, a small chance that he had a conscience and maybe just went across the street where he had parked the car. So as I start to cross the main thoroughfare that goes through Bethesda, Maryland, I collapsed in the middle of the street. I lost 6 units of blood and ended up in the hospital for 3 days. I nearly bled to death, and there was nothing I could do about it. I held that secret for 22 years. In that 22 years, it has affected every relationship I've been involved in. I have suffered through stage 4 cancer 3 times of the uterus, and a couple of years ago had a 25-pound tumor removed from my uterus as well. I still have my uterus, but I don't have a child. My Lily Gabrielle intercedes for me in heaven. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know what color her hair is. I don't know what color her eyes are. The only thing that I have to remember her by is a nameplate that was also placed at the National Monument for the Unborn during the Freedom Rides with this man right here, Father Frank Pavone. It's through his devotion and dedication to the post-abortive women and the pro-life cause in this country that I had that opportunity. A final place where I can go and leave flowers or a stuffed animal for my daughter because I have nothing. After I decided that I was going to become forward with this, I gave my very first testimony on the Supreme Court stairs 3 years ago. After I did that, I went to my parents and told them what I did. And my mother's last words to me were, "Perhaps you're the one that should have been aborted." For 3 years, we didn't talk. I did receive lilies this past Christmas Eve. So I called my parents for the first time in 3 years. My dad, he's coming around. My mom, she's grieving. She feels like she did something wrong in bringing me up. And I say this to you not to say that my mother is a bad person. My mother's a wonderful person because she chose life, and that leads me here to you today. I ask for your prayers for her and my dad, but I want you to know that this is the type of stuff that absolutely disintegrates your life after you've made this choice. The trauma, the pain, the desperation that I have felt in my life up until this moment has been so overwhelming. There's been times where I've not wanted to be here on this earth. But I realized through the hope with all of you and people around this wonderful country that we live in, and through the leadership of Father Frank Pavone and Georgette Forney, we can continue to persevere to end abortion in this country. So I challenge each of you, if you know someone who's pro-choice, tell them about this story. Tell them about the work we do. Make them listen to us on silentnomore.com. The testimonies are there. The stories speak for themselves. We're real people with real stories to offer to you. Please continue to support us in every way you can. God bless all of you for being here. It's because of you that I can continue to do this work. And it's going to be through you that we end this in our country. God bless you.
Everyone knows it.
Remember that 40 days for life, God is what we get in the cause is for 40 years. After 40, there's a shift. After 40, there's a change. You can ask Jesus, you can ask Moses. After 40, things begin to look different. And I'm going to tell you,
Huh?
1967 was the first law in Colorado. Did you know 40 years later is about time?
Just gonna stay here.
2008.
You should stay here tonight. Because I don't know what your